African wild dogs are rarely alone. Their true strength is not speed or size, but unity. Every movement they make is guided by the pack. There is no single dominant leader forcing commands. Instead, decisions emerge through shared signals, soft chirps, eye contact, and body posture. When the pack moves, each dog already understands its role. This silent coordination is what makes them one of the most efficient hunters on Earth. Before a hunt begins, the pack often gathers in what looks like playful chaos. They jump, wag their tails, vocalize, and run in circles around one another. But this is not play. This ritual builds excitement, synchronization, and focus. It prepares every member mentally and physically for what lies ahead. Once the ritual ends, the pack moves with purpose, slipping quietly through the grass like shadows. Unlike ambush predators, African wild dogs rely on endurance. They carefully observe herds, watching for weakness. The target is rarely the strongest animal. Instead, they focus on the young, the injured, or the one that strays too far from the group. Once a target is chosen, the chase begins. The prey may run faster at first, but the wild dog never stops. Minute after minute, kilometer after kilometer, the pack maintains pressure. This relentless pursuit slowly drains the prey's energy until escape is no longer possible. When the moment comes, the pack surrounds the exhausted animal from multiple directions. There is no hesitation. The hunt ends quickly, and survival takes its course. It is harsh, but it is nature in its purest form. What follows next is something rare in the animal kingdom. There is no fighting over food. No selfish dominance. Puppies and injured pack members eat first. Every dog gets a share. This cooperation ensures the survival of the entire pack, not just the strongest individuals. The bond within a wild dog pack is strongest when it comes to raising young. Pups are born in underground dens, hidden from predators. For weeks, they remain there, completely dependent on the pack. Adults take turns guarding the den, bringing food, and protecting the vulnerable young. Even dogs that did not give birth participate fully. The survival of the pups is the survival of the pack itself. Life, however, is never easy for African wild dogs. Lions kill them on sight, not for food, but to remove competition. Hyenas steal their hard-earned kills. Human expansion destroys their habitats, cuts migration routes, and brings deadly diseases from domestic animals. Today, fewer than 6,000 African wild dogs remain in the wild. Entire packs can disappear within a single season. Yet despite all odds, wild dogs persist. When a pack is destroyed, survivors sometimes join others, forming new families. They adapt, move, and continue forward. Their resilience is extraordinary. They do not give up easily, because survival for them is not individual. It is shared. African wild dogs play a crucial role in maintaining balance in the ecosystem. By hunting weak and sick animals, they prevent disease and overpopulation. Remove them, and the savanna begins to collapse slowly. Nature depends on every piece of the puzzle, and wild dogs are one of its most important guardians. Their story is not just about hunting. It is about cooperation, loyalty, and sacrifice. In a world where survival often means standing alone, African wild dogs remind us that sometimes, the greatest strength comes from standing together. As the hunt ends and the pack feeds, there is a brief moment of calm. Bellies full, the wild dogs rest together, often lying close enough to touch. This closeness is not accidental. Physical contact strengthens bonds and reduces tension within the pack. Grooming, gentle nips, and playful behavior reinforce trust. In a world where danger is constant, unity is their greatest defense. As the sun shifts across the sky, the pack prepares to move again. African wild dogs are constantly on the move, covering vast distances every day. Their territories can stretch over hundreds of square kilometers. Unlike lions, they cannot afford to stay in one place for too long. Remaining stationary increases the risk of encountering rivals like lions or hyenas, who can easily overpower them. Movement is survival. Communication remains constant during travel. Soft whistles and chirps help pack members stay connected even when visibility is low. These sounds are unique to wild dogs and can carry over long distances without attracting unwanted attention. Each call reassures the pack that no one has been left behind. Losing a single member weakens the entire group. As night approaches, threats increase. Lions become more active, and hyenas patrol aggressively. Wild dogs avoid direct confrontation whenever possible. If danger appears, the pack scatters quickly, regrouping later at a safer location. This ability to retreat and reform is another key to their survival. They choose intelligence over confrontation. Raising pups remains the pack's highest priority. When food is scarce, adults willingly sacrifice their own meals to feed the young. Adults often regurgitate food for pups, ensuring they receive enough nutrition to grow strong. This selfless behavior is rare among predators and highlights how deeply cooperation is embedded in their social structure. Training begins early. As pups grow, they are slowly introduced to short chases and playful mock hunts. These games teach coordination, timing, and stamina. Mistakes are allowed here, where consequences are small. By the time a young wild dog joins a real hunt, the fundamentals are already ingrained. Despite their intelligence and cooperation, African wild dogs face a future filled with uncertainty. Roads cut across ancient migration routes. Farms replace hunting grounds. Diseases like rabies and distemper spread from domestic dogs, wiping out entire packs in weeks. Conservationists race against time to protect what remains. Tracking collars now help researchers understand movement patterns and reduce human conflict. Protected reserves provide safe spaces, but they are often too small for animals that rely on constant movement. True survival depends on connected landscapes and coexistence with humans. Still, there is hope. In areas where conservation efforts are strong, wild dog populations are slowly recovering. Communities that once feared them are learning their value. Education transforms fear into respect. Awareness becomes protection. The African wild dog is not just a predator. It is a symbol of teamwork, resilience, and balance. Its survival reflects the health of the entire ecosystem. If the wild dog thrives, the savanna thrives. Their story reminds us that survival is rarely a solo journey. In nature, as in life, those who work together stand the greatest chance of enduring the challenges ahead. As days turn into weeks, the life of an African wild dog pack continues to revolve around movement, cooperation, and constant vigilance. Every sunrise brings new uncertainty. Food may be scarce, rivals may be near, and the landscape itself is always changing. Yet the pack adapts. They read the land, the wind, and each other with remarkable precision. Experience is passed silently, not through instruction, but through action. Loss is an inevitable part of their journey. Injuries sustained during hunts, encounters with larger predators, or human-related threats can quickly claim a pack member. When this happens, the response is not chaos, but quiet adjustment. The pack mourns briefly, then moves on. Survival does not allow for long pauses. Every remaining member must compensate, filling gaps left behind. In this way, the pack remains strong even in the face of tragedy. As seasons change, so do the challenges. During dry periods, prey becomes harder to find, forcing the pack to travel farther than usual. Rivers dry up, vegetation thins, and the heat becomes relentless. These harsh conditions test endurance, not just physical strength. Wild dogs rely on their stamina and persistence, pushing forward when other predators retreat. This ability to endure is what sets them apart. Human presence looms larger with every passing year. Roads intersect ancient pathways. Vehicles interrupt hunts. Fences restrict movement. What once was an open savanna becomes fragmented land. For a species that depends on wide-ranging territory, these changes can be devastating. A single road can separate a pack from its food source. A single fence can trap them in hostile territory. Despite this, moments of peace still exist. At dusk, when the heat fades and the sky turns gold, wild dogs often rest together. Puppies play, adults remain alert but calm, and for a short while, the world feels balanced. These moments remind us that survival is not just about struggle, but also about harmony within the group. Conservationists understand that protecting African wild dogs means protecting entire ecosystems. Efforts now focus on creating wildlife corridors that allow safe movement between protected areas. Education programs help local communities understand that wild dogs are not a threat to livestock when ecosystems are healthy. Slowly, attitudes are changing. Every wild dog that survives represents resilience. Every successful hunt supports not only the pack, but the balance of the land itself. They are more than predators. They are regulators, caretakers, and indicators of environmental health. The story of the African wild dog is not one of speed alone, nor of hunting prowess. It is a story of unity in a harsh world, of sacrifice for the greater good, of persistence against overwhelming odds. In their lives, we see a reflection of nature's most powerful lesson: survival is strongest when it is shared. If the African wild dog disappears, something vital disappears with it. Not just an animal, but a system built on cooperation and balance. Protecting them is not merely an act of conservation. It is an act of preserving the wisdom written into the wild itself. And as long as they continue to run together across the savannah, there remains hope that nature, when respected, can still endure. As the pack continues its journey, younger members begin to show signs of maturity. Their movements become more confident, their reactions sharper. Where once they followed closely, they now anticipate. These subtle changes mark the transition from dependence to contribution. Every successful pack depends on this gradual passing of responsibility. Experience is earned through survival, not instruction. Territory disputes are a constant risk. When unfamiliar scents appear or distant calls echo across the plains, tension rises instantly. African wild dogs avoid unnecessary conflict, but when boundaries are crossed, they respond with speed and unity. A pack moving together appears larger, stronger, and more intimidating than any single animal. This illusion of strength often prevents fights before they begin. Avoidance, once again, proves smarter than confrontation. Weather plays a silent but powerful role in their lives. Heavy rains can erase scent trails, making hunting more difficult. Mud slows movement and increases the risk of injury. Yet rain also brings renewal. Fresh grass attracts prey, and with it, opportunity. The pack adapts its timing, hunting during breaks in the storm, resting when conditions are too dangerous. Flexibility keeps them alive. Illness is one of the most dangerous threats a pack can face. Unlike visible predators, disease spreads quietly. A single infected dog can weaken the entire group. When illness strikes, the pack slows. Hunts become shorter. Energy is conserved. Sometimes, difficult decisions must be made, as weaker members fall behind. These moments reveal the harsh reality of life in the wild, where survival often demands painful sacrifices. Despite these hardships, social bonds never fade. Even injured or aging dogs are rarely abandoned immediately. The pack supports them for as long as possible, adjusting pace and sharing food. This compassion, rare among predators, highlights the deep social intelligence of African wild dogs. Their loyalty is not driven by emotion alone, but by understanding that every member matters. At night, under open skies filled with stars, the pack rests close together. Their breathing slows, ears remain alert, and the world quiets. These moments of stillness are fragile. Danger never sleeps in the savannah. Yet trust allows them to rest, knowing that the pack watches as one. Human conservation efforts now intersect directly with these lives. Rangers monitor movements, remove snares, and respond to conflict situations. In some regions, communities have become protectors rather than threats. Tourism, when managed responsibly, provides incentive to preserve these animals rather than fear them. Change is slow, but visible. Each generation of African wild dogs carries the weight of those before it. Their survival is not guaranteed, but it is possible. Every successful hunt, every pup raised, every avoided conflict is a small victory against extinction. The African wild dog does not dominate the savannah through strength alone. It survives through intelligence, cooperation, and adaptability. In a world that constantly changes, these qualities matter more than ever. Their story continues, written not in words, but in footprints stretching endlessly across the African plains.